Christina Campbell reporting for Microbiome Times, and we're here today to talk with Jim Weston, who's Senior Vice President of Regulatory Affairs at Seres Therapeutics, and Stephen Conifay, who is Washington Counsel for the Microbiome Therapeutics Innovation Group, or MTIG. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Christina.
So what is it about microbiome therapeutics that makes them sort of challenging to fit within an existing regulatory framework?
Christina, the whole concept of microbiome therapeutics is a really new field of medicine. It's only been around for a few years because of the novel concepts of being able to use these bacteria, which are naturally derived, to be able to treat a variety of diseases. There's not a lot of regulation that goes on right now from them, but what we're looking for is how to better develop these drugs to make them more beneficial to the patients who need them. And we're looking at a broad area of disease states, from GI diseases to infectious diseases to oncology. So it's a broad new field that we need to figure out how to develop drugs in.
Mm-hmm. And so what is the main purpose of the MTIG?
Well, it's to foster the development of these therapeutic innovations, both commercially, regulatory-wise, to make it a thriving environment so that lots of companies that are innovative here can help these patients that can benefit by the new science of the microbiome.
And so are regulation and innovation, do you see those as closely linked when it comes to microbiome therapeutics? And sort of how is that different from other drug therapies?
Sure, they are very closely linked. In this case, innovation appears to be advancing a little bit further than regulation. We have had to innovate in many ways in the whole concept of development of the drugs we make. So for that, we need to then work with the regulatory authorities, FDA, European Medicines Agency, and others, to be able to figure out how we can carve paths for these drugs for approval. It's different than other products because there's not a lot of precedence in this case of ways that have done it before and so forth. But in this case, we're working very positively with all the regulatory authorities.
And so why is it important to address these challenges as a coalition of companies rather than individual companies?
Well, there's several reasons. The biggest reason is you have more impact when you're working as a group than you would be as individual companies. FDA and Congress, the policymakers in Washington, don't want to be put in a position of picking and choosing winners between individual companies. So one of the advantages that we have of working with MTech is we collaboratively work on policy areas that make sense for the future of the microbiome therapeutics going forward, and then present them to the policymakers as a unified front. And that gives them, it's efficient, and it gives them kind of one voice and a resource to turn to when they run into problems of how to regulate us.
Mm-hmm. And so what do you see as the ideal future in this area of microbiome therapeutics?
I think the future is great. The potential for these products to treat a number of disease states is just phenomenal in terms of the broad area we're exploring right now. So I think there's a lot of future going forward, and we've been working with regulatory authorities and look forward to continuing to work with them.
I should add that FDA is a organization that tries its hardest to keep up with the new science, and it's very difficult because innovation is moving at a faster pace than the bureaucracy can move usually. And it is also an organization that is underfunded for the responsibilities that it has. It covers 1/4 of the United States economy, and they get told by Congress and other people, do this, do that, and it's called an unfunded mandate. They have to do the work, but they aren't given the resources to do it. And we hope to be put in a position where we can help them get the resources to do it, and so that we can achieve all the goals for the American patient that we're able to.
Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us today, and I look forward to following the evolution of your organization.
Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity.